शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धा विश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तः स्थमेश्वरम्।
Sharing with Lord is a very important tool for God realization. It is an important aspect of sadhana. It has been advocated in all the scriptures of world and various religions, their philosophies. They are emphasizing on the importance of this sharing with Lord, offerings to the Lord. The God has two aspects. Number one, transcendental, and number two, the immanental. Transcendental means it is beyond nature, for which the meditation is prescribed. But for immanental aspect, one has to share. God is residing in all. So one has to share whatever he or she has achieved in terms of possessions, money, belongings, say clothing, food. So whatever one has, a part of that, a fixed portion of that must be offered to God. Now, where to be offered, to whom to be given, these are the points to be dealt separately in my future lectures. At this moment, I am trying to tell you that sharing with Lord, who is in all, is the real worshipping of God, the immanental aspect of divinity. That is why it is said that the way to Lord's house passes through detachment. The more you are detached, the more nearer you come to your divinity. In the beginning, man started his activities on some part of the land. Then he started holding that land. Although that land was not created by him, nor he could create. But he started saying that this is mine. And then when the concept of mine was developed, then the concept of thine further developed. Then people started grabbing the properties, the lands, and then started getting some produce from those pieces of land. And then because of the social instinct of human beings, they created villages, towns, nations, and then on the basis of mine and thine experiences, the wars also started. And then it was increasing the arsenals, leading to regional wars and world wars. Now that was created all by mankind, the human beings, because of the mine and thine concept. And the seat of mine and thine, it is in the heart, it is the mind. So the people have created havoc for themselves and for the societies because of the mine and thine concepts. Now by selfless service, the desires can be curtailed so that the wars which are being fought because of the desires, they could be reduced. Similarly, by selfless service, the attachments, the feeling of mine and thine, that could be curtailed. And then the societies or the human beings, in as far as the individualities are concerned, they can become more happier. They can derive more satisfaction out of their life. Now you're giving. Selfless service practicing means giving. Whatever you have, a portion of that has to be offered to God. So by giving, you reduce your desires. In desires, you want to have something. If you could dare to give, I say daring to give, you give, but you give to whom? To your relatives, to your son-in-laws, to your daughter-in-laws, to your sons and daughters, to your parents, to your friends you give. But giving selflessly, giving without any relations, the real relation is with God. So if you could dare to give to God, not all what you have, that you can never give, at least a portion of that which we advocate, 10%, is tithing. So by giving, your desires are reduced, because in desires you want to have, if you could give, then the desire shall be neutralized. The lesser the desires are, the more happiness is. Because happiness has been covered by the desires. Or the desires, they have willed the happiness. So if the desires could be reduced, the happiness can be manifested or experienced. Similarly, through selfless service, through offerings to God, the attachments can also be reduced. When the desires are fulfilled, then you develop the attachments. By giving, the desires and the attachments both could be reduced. The mind becomes more purified. Then giving does not mean that you are going to lose something. When you offer to God, certainly you get multiplied many times more. The law of infinity is working in this nature. And because God has created this nature, so God is fully infinite. So the blessings from God are also numberless. The law of infinity is working in this nature. You see, the heat is infinite, the air is infinite, the water is infinite, the trees are infinite, the leaves in the trees are also infinite, the mountains are infinite. So the law of infinity is working in this nature. And because God created this nature, so He is fully infinite. Now, if you could offer to God, then in your life too, it is the infinite happiness that shall be bestowed upon you. It is the infinite illumination shall be offered to you. It is the infinite love that should be experienced by you. And then it is the health also, and then it is the energy, the vital power that can also be experienced if you start offering to God. Because He is the reservoir of health, energy, happiness, knowledge and love, which are the attributes of divinity. So by offering to God, you are not going to lack anything. In fact, offering to God is the best investment. When you offer with love, in Holy Quran it is said that God once asked, O Son of God, you did not give me food when I was hungry. The rich man, when died, he listened to this sound. Then he says, I have not. When did you come to me when I refused? The reply came, you employed me as a laborer. You did not give me the proper wages to me. Then I became hungry. Then he said, O Son of God, when I was thirsty, you did not give me water. He asked, when did you ask me? I was a laborer. After hard work for a whole day, when I was passing through your house, I asked for water. You did not give me the water. Similarly, in Bible it is said, when Christ says, you gave me food when I was hungry, you gave me water when I was thirsty, you gave me clothes when I was naked. People asked, we never know you. When did you come to us? The reply was, verily, when you have given to my brethren. You see, that has come to me. And that is why he says, love to your neighbor as you want to, as you love yourself, love to your neighbor. And by giving, it is not going to be reduced. It says, bring all the tithes into the storehouse. Tithes, their tithes is 10%, whatever you have earned. It is mentioned, bring all the tithes into the storehouse. I shall pour out the blessings, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. Good measures, pressed down, shaken well, running over. So giving always multiplies. The nature gives. The sun is giving. The air is giving. The mountains are giving. The clouds, rivers, ocean, they are all giving. The trees are giving. The earth is giving. So this is a giving universe. And you have been made on the top of all. Bible says God made man after his own image. Quran says Ashraful Makhlukat, the highest creation. Vedas, they proclaim Manur Bhav. In Ramchit Manas it is said, Bade Bhagya Manush Tan Pava Sur Durlabh Sab Granthan Gava. This is the highest creation. Then your duty was, your prime requirement was to give. To whom? To God. In Hebrews 2, the principle they used to apply in their lives. They also used to give from their cattle, from their crops, and whatever they had. And Hebrews were always richer, particularly those who used to give. So giving always multiplies, and because of this nature which keeps on giving, and that is why nature is also receiving multiplied many times more. So we can get this lesson from at least nature to give selflessly to God. I remember there was in the scriptures, there is a case of a big feast offered to the gods and the demons. Both were to take the meals in separate halls. It was a unique in the sense that a big sticks were wrapped on their elbows in both the hands. So they were not able to put the food in their mouth. In both the halls, for the gods and the demons, this was done in both their hands. These sticks were tied. Now demons, they were selfish. They could not enjoy the good feast. Whereas the gods, said to be unselfish, they enjoyed the good feast. How did they do? They picked up the food and put it to another of his friend's mouth. And that friend puts the food in this mouth. So that's the way all enjoyed the good feast. So how unselfish act in your life can make your life more enjoying, more satisfying. The more unselfish you become, the more happier the life is, and then you make the realization of that immanential aspect of divinity. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna defines the real yajna. Offering to God is the real yajna. It is not only putting some samvidas and samagris to the yajna, to the fire. It is said in the 3rd chapter, from 11th verses to 16th verses, that the creation of this world, when it was being done, the God of Creator, Lord Brahma, asked the mankind to become unselfish, to give to the deities, to the gods, who in turn shall supply and make you prosperous. So both of them he advised to give each other, and by giving, the law of multiplication works. If you hold the money, then it is not to be multiplied. But if you give it to somebody else to be utilized, and then that also gives, then you see in the society, the money keeps on multiplying. In commercial terms, it is known as trading because of the more circulation of money. But this is a divine trading. When you give to God, then God multiplies. So Lord Krishna says, when you give to the gods in turn shall multiply many times more, and that is how each of you can make prosperous to each other. This is the real yajna. Giving is a real yajna. Whatever you should have eaten otherwise, and if you are not eating, you are offering it to God, then this is the real yajna. You have 24 hours a day. If at least 1 hour is utilized for this selfless service with love for God, then it is really a yajna. If you have 10,000 rupees in your pocket, if 1,000 rupees are not being given to your son, to your daughters, to your family members, but unselfishly in the service of God with love, without any expectation of return, then it is known as yajna. So giving can become the real yajna.
We keep on getting the questions from various aspirants all over the world regarding the principles of Tap Seva Sumiran. These questions are added in the related episode with their answers and explanations by Pujya Shri Akhileshji. Mr. M.R. Pandey from Indore wants to know how much sharing with God you advise.
The scriptures, they advise the sharing with God. I have been only advising people to obey the instructions of the scriptures. Sikhism advises 10% as dasbandh. Hebrews, they used to tithe 10%. Even the Babylonians, Persians, Egyptians, Chinese, they all used to practice 10%. The Old Testament and as well as the New, they advise 10%. Holy Quran prescribes 2.5%, but it is recurring, which is more than 10% in long run. Few school of thoughts among Mohammedans, they advise 10%. Then in Hinduism, Sri Ramcharitmanas advises 10% because of the 10 senses. So all these scriptures in the world, they are advising at least 10% of the total income must be set apart in the service of Lord.
Tap Seva Sumiran is a unique lifestyle for holistic development of human personality at physical, vital, mental, intellectual and spiritual planes. If you too want to change your life through Tap Seva Sumiran, you are welcome at our ashram or write at Badri Narayan Sevagram, Choti Panchli, Bagpat Marg, Meerut 25002.